This Express I picked up from a gentleman on the west coast of Florida. I actually bought this bike just to steal the good bits off of it to put it on my other Express. And it has a windshield which obviously is aftermarket and the Lexan wasn't cut very well, but I like it. It kind of adds the charm. It's got the baskets on the back. It doesn't run. I don't really know why. I'm guessing the carb was messed up. It didn't have spark, and I figured that out, so we'll go over that. We'll call this one the clean one because it's mostly all stock and it just stopped running for whatever reason. I would imagine a carb issue because looking over it, I mean, there's really nothing wrong with it as far as like no weird wiring issues. I threw an Amazon carb on there just to get rid of the oil mix and all of that. So we're just going to go to a pre-mix right out of the tank. I've got the fuel on. It's getting fuel to the carburetor. I'll just throw the choke up there. And I diagged the spark issue, and turns out what it was, I thought it was a coil. It's not a coil. I sanded the points on the other side as well as checked everything. So what it actually come down to is this little jumper wire here. So this actually completes the ignition circuit. And on my other Expresses, you know, somebody's modified these, so they've gone ahead and jumped that circuit for whatever reason, but this one is OEM, so that's why it's still there. And if you take and snatch the plug out of it, take and stuff it in here, these Expresses have a crank, so instead of a standard kickstart, and then you release the brake lever, and that's what gives you ignition. And if this is grounded out properly, get my camera set up here, you should see nice spark. So just like that. So she should fire up. Let's put this back in here. Also probably think I'm absolutely insane. I'm doing all of this in a back patio type situation here, and I'm just going to open the door and we'll run a fan if this thing does decide to fire up. Alright, so with trying to get the blue bike running, I think there's obviously a couple issues. So first issue is the petcock itself actually leaks like crazy, so I'm going to replace that. I think my problem isn't the carburetor. I've gone through it a couple times, and I believe that the reed valves underneath the carburetor, which are in the intake here, are actually either gummed up, which is probably highly likely with all the crap going on here, and they're not moving freely. So it's not allowing fuel to get into the actual cylinder itself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean this up, use some cleaner, clean this up, and then take the intake off and clean or replace the reed valve. We'll see once I inspect it. And put the carburetor back on and hopefully start it, as well as replacing the petcock. there's the reed valve. And they're really oily, but they seem to move okay. They can brake clean this off along with everything else here and just try and figure it out. Alright, so I got the new petcock in, the carburetor, run a line real quick. I put the reed back. I tidied up the area a little bit, hoping this solves my issue. This line on. Make sure this is on. Put a little gas in it. Test for spark, just for giggles, in case I did something dumb. Spark. I think it's a carb issue. I'm gonna do, take a little carb cleaner. I'm gonna just shoot a little bit in here. All right. Let's see what happens. Oh, it is alive. But it needs fuel. I'm stoked. It ran for a second. So reeds work. I'm guessing it's just a carb issue then. All right. See if I can get it to happen again. I didn't spray anything in the carb this time. Woo! It kind of ran away on me a little bit, but it runs. I'm so stoked. That means I can actually rip it apart and do what I want with it. Not a good idea to be doing this in the back patio. Well, the door open. Yep. So the blue one runs. Sweet.